Now at 10, Festa Italiana is well underway. We'll take you there. Also, Carl Junction is having a bluegrass festival, so my music fans, you'll want to stick around.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The Bourbon County Sheriff's Office is asking the public to be on the lookout for a wanted suspect. This is your KOAM News at 10. I'm Jalen Banks. Officers say Jai Terrence Scott Jr. is wanted in connection with the felony pursuit in Bourbon County, who they say may be armed and dangerous. Officers recovered the vehicle the suspect was riding in and contacted other suspects involved in the case. However, the 6'6", 280-pound Scott Jr. escaped the area. Police say they discovered narcotics and firearms in the suspect's vehicle. Deputies encouraged anyone with information regarding the crime to contact the sheriff's office. Around 2 a.m. this morning, Dunnewick Fire Department was alerted to a house fire in the Prosperity area of Ely Road. Jasper County deputies arrived first to find that the home had already been engulfed in flames. Investigation determined that the resident was not home at the time. The home was burned down to the foundation. The only part left standing was a small portion of the attached garage. The cause of the fire is unknown at this time. Every fall, Festa Italiana makes its way back to Frontenac, Kansas. Festa Italiana gives people the opportunity to see the heritage of Southeast Kansas and why Southeast Kansas is the way it is today. The funds raised go towards student development grants and semester scholarships to all Frontenac High School graduates.
I think it's just the whole community atmosphere and the support of the school in general. Frontenac has a great thing going here where they really have strong support for the schools. The community is pretty tight-knit, a lot of celebration of heritage, so it's just great to get out here and be among people and for a great cause.
The scholarship funds are dispersed by the Frontenac Education Foundation. Carl Junction hosted its Carl Junction Bluegrass Festival for families to enjoy. The event featured country artists from around the nation, as well as vendors, live music, food trucks, and activities for children. An organizer says celebrations like this bring the community together.
I think it's important to have a festival that has been around for a really long time. It's a family tradition to a lot of people that I talk to, so they grow up coming to a festival and it brings the community together and it brings Carl Junction together and it gets people a chance to experience Carl Junction and what we have to offer in our city.
The event was attended by over 13,000 people. After battering the Bermuda and Puerto Rico this week, Fiona made landfall in eastern Canada today as a post-tropical cyclone. It still brought high winds, heavy rain, and the threat of a powerful storm surge. Bradley Blackburn has the latest on Fiona's trail of destruction.
These are the 50-foot waves inside the eye of the storm, captured by a drone Friday as Fiona moved north. In Nova Scotia, Canadians braced for up to 8 inches of rain and more than 100-mile-per-hour winds.
Better to be safe than sorry.
Forecasters said it could be one of the strongest storms in Canada's history.
We are going to see some extreme winds associated with Fiona.
Fiona hit Bermuda Friday as a Category 4 hurricane, lashing the island and cutting power to thousands, but leaving little major damage. Cleanup was already underway.
Not too bad, but still we got a licking.
The storm is blamed for at least 7 deaths during its nearly week-long journey. In Puerto Rico, more than half of the island is still without power and many have no water. Meanwhile, Tropical Storm Ian is taking aim at Florida and preps are underway. Forecasters say it could strengthen into a major hurricane with models showing it passing over the state next week.
It might head our way, might not. We just don't know, but got to prepare for it either way.
The National Hurricane Center says Ian could arrive in the Florida Keys by next Tuesday. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Our thoughts are certainly with everyone that's going through those storms. Now that Fiona has made impact, our attention turns to Ian, and Sam has more details on that system.
Yeah, I want to talk about Fiona just a little bit. We just got some late data. In fact, the lowest surface pressure in Canadian history occurred with the landfall of Fiona. And now we're turning our attention to Ian moving through the central and western Caribbean. It's expected to be a Category 1 hurricane by tomorrow evening with 80-mile-an-hour winds. You can see the various computer models here and the official forecast in red. And then by Monday evening, we're looking at a Category 3 hurricane just south of Cuba, passing to the west of the Cayman Islands, located right here, with winds of 115. Then it's expected to become a major Category 4 hurricane as it moves into the southeastern Gulf of Mexico by Tuesday evening with winds of 140 miles per hour, and is expected to maintain its strength as it moves west of Tampa by Wednesday evening with 130 mile an hour winds. Lots of rain. Tornadoes are likely going to occur on Wednesday afternoon across Florida, and then expected to make landfall in the Forgotten Coast area of Florida by Thursday night, but still lots of damage expected across Florida and southern Georgia with Ian. So we'll have to watch him pretty closely. Now stay tuned, because I'm going to have a look at our forecast, which is a lot calmer, right after this.
Missouri's largest remaining preserved prairie puts on a celebration to remember and recognize the importance of the natural grassland in the state's history. Prairie State Park, located in western Barton County, hosted the public on its Prairie Jubilee from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Park Visitor Center is at 128 Northwest 150th Lane in Minden Mines, and park officials say the park's preservation is important.
Historically in Missouri, a third of Missouri was tall grass prairie like what we have here. Now there's less than half of 1%. So a tiny, tiny fraction is all that's left from what once used to be in Missouri, and I think that's important for people to realize.
The Prairie Jubilee is celebrated every 2 years. We now take time to honor one of our four-state heroes. Captain Stephanie Foreman, an Anderson, Missouri native, served in the Army for the last 19 years. And we thank you, Stephanie Foreman, our four-state hero. Teen vaping is on the rise, and how COVID-19 may mess with your brain long after infection. Michael George has some of the week's top health stories.
People who have had COVID-19 are at a higher risk of long-term brain problems than those who never had it at all. That's according to research from the Washington University School of Medicine. Those complications include strokes, cognitive and memory problems, and migraines, which researchers say develop within the first year of infection. New research from Columbia University's Mailman School of Public Health shows teen substance abuse in the U.S. is declining, but experts are concerned about skyrocketing vaping and cannabis use. It's estimated some 2 million middle and high school students use e-cigarettes. And this week marked World Alzheimer's Day. An estimated 55 million people across the globe have dementia, and more than 6 million Americans are living with Alzheimer's disease. Almost 2/3 of Americans with Alzheimer's are women and older Black Americans, who are more likely to suffer from dementia compared to older white Americans. Those are some of the week's top health stories. Michael George, CBS News, New York.
A new virus with an eerie relationship to the coronavirus has been discovered and could infect humans. Washington State University researchers have discovered a virus in a Russian bat that is in the same subcategory of coronaviruses and could be transmissible to humans. It's also said to be resistant to COVID-19 vaccine antibodies. The virus is dubbed the Costa 2 virus and has been found in Western Russia. Researchers say this points to universal vaccines needing to be developed and not just one type with strains. The White House is taking steps it hopes will help combat the country's drug problem. Officials announced nearly $1.5 billion will be used to fight substance abuse. The grants will be used to fund prevention, treatment, recovery, and harm reduction services. Just over $100 million is earmarked for expansion in rural communities. The Biden administration is also planning to host a National Recovery Month summit that will celebrate those who are recovering from substance abuse. Officials say the U.S. has been 108,000 fatal drug overdoses in the past 12 months. That breaks down to one death every 5 minutes. Wandering is said to be a big risk for those battling Alzheimer's disease. 6 in 10 people living with Alzheimer's are said to wander at least once. Many do it repeatedly. Wandering can take place in many different forms, including elopement, which is when Alzheimer's patients tries to escape, paces repetitively, or becomes lost. Some cases of such wandering can lead to injury or even death. It's important to know the person's usual behavior and telltale signs which could show they might be getting ready to wander and to express any concerns with their medical provider. A key recommendation for some healthcare care protections against the coronavirus has been dropped. The CDC has ended its guideline of Americans wearing masks indoors in hospitals and nursing homes. The change is part of revisions in the CDC coronavirus recommendations. The federal agency began urging people to wear source control protection early in the pandemic, but now 1/4 of all counties can drop mask requirements. The CDC now relies on community level rating standards, and some with high levels with transmission can choose to continue mask wearing. Later, Jacob Leonard joins us in sports with updates on Missouri Southern and Pitt State.
And we set another record across the area with a high of 94 degrees. I'll let you know if we're going to set any more when we return. Well, folks, we started off the weekend on a hot note with temperatures in the 90s in many locations today. Fortunately, though, it's cooled down a little bit right now. You can see outside at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort down in Seneca, Missouri. Pretty nice evening shaping up down there. Like I said, we did break a record today, 94 in Joplin. That smashed the record of 90 about 110 years ago. That's quite a long record. Normally we're 79 this time of year, but we weren't anywhere close to that. And for this month, we've now had 19 days above normal. And look at the string of records. We started on Sunday with the record, Wednesday a record, and then today a record. So a record-setting week across the area here in the month of September. And also the drought continues too, with exceptional drought in southeast Kansas and northern Oklahoma, and then the extreme drought surrounding that, which includes a large part of western Missouri, northeastern Oklahoma, southeast Kansas. It's basically dry everywhere. We desperately need some rainfall. In fact, this month, if we don't get any more rain between now and the end of the month, which is a very likely chance, we're going to end up as being the third driest September in Joplin history. So not the kind of record we like to set. And it's been that way all summer. We were 3 inches below normal in June, 3 inches below normal in July, a little bit above in August, and this month we're going to probably be around almost 4 inches below normal on rainfall. So we desperately need the rainfall, and unfortunately radar is clear tonight. Temperatures this afternoon, as I mentioned, was record-breaking here in Joplin, but likely also records-breaking in southeastern Kansas with 95 in Parsons today, 94 in Fredonia as well as the Ville, 88 in Veneta. They were a little bit cooler in Oklahoma today with some clouds and also some storms over in south central Missouri this afternoon kept them a little bit cooler as well. Temperatures right now are very comfortable though, with temperatures in the mid-70s across our area. Still 83 in Coffeyville right now, 73 in Veneta, as well as around Afton, and 75 over there in Miami. Currently in Joplin, we're 74, feels like 74, dew point is 61, and the pressure is currently steady. We do have a boundary in the area, but it's not going to really change that much as far as temperatures, just some drier air moving in and some northerly winds, but you can see the front here. By tomorrow morning, temperatures in the 60s, and then tomorrow afternoon, cooler, much cooler, with highs in the lower 80s across our area, some 70s up to the north, so that'll feel nice. Then Sunday night into Monday, it's going to get quite chilly, especially up to the north, with some lows in the 40s, around 51 here in Joplin, I think. And then Monday afternoon, significantly nice as well, with temperatures in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees, especially down in the Oklahoma side. Then into Tuesday morning, we're going to see lows once again in the 50s, maybe some 40s in places like Garnett, with just a few clouds passing by. Over the next 7 days, dry weather continues right through the forecast, but at least will be more seasonable as far as our temperatures go. But then if we look at the extended, we start getting close to record-setting temperatures again early next week, with temperatures getting close to 90 degrees again. So we desperately need the rainfall, but at least we can deal with these temperatures a little bit better.
A little bit, I'd say a lot, based off of what we've seen this summer.
Oh, exactly, especially that record today of 94. I'm tired of breaking records.
Yeah, so am I. All right. Thank you, Sam.
Huh?
The 6th annual Restoration Carthage Workday took place. The goal is to promote beautification and revitalization of Carthage through volunteering, partnerships, community, and business engagement. The groups will participate in yard cleanups, low maintenance landscaping, and minor exterior repairs.
Probably just selflessness, you know what I'm saying? Like, we always just love helping one another. You know what I'm saying? We're gentlemen. That's like what KA is, like gentleman group, stuff like that. So like we just help people out, and like I'm saying, we just love being pigments in our community. You know, so like we just love like helping one another, and like we're brothers. So like we like bond together, and like, you know, we all do stuff together. You know what I'm saying? No one does anything alone. So that's what I think this group is, you know, bottled around.
The groups would adopt high visibility blocks to focus on. And coming up in sports, Missouri Southern football aims for their first 3-game winning streak in 9 years. Plus, Webb City Volleyball earns a tournament title tonight in Carl Junction. Jacob Leonard has that and more after the break.
Well, the Pittsburgh State Gorillas are 3-0 to start the season. Now, with their hot start, Pitt State has climbed to number 14 in the national rankings this week. Now, this afternoon, the Gorillas on the road against Emporia State. Chad Dotson to Bryce Murphy. Touchdown Gorillas. They're up 7-0. Emporia State answers 11 plays, 80 yards. Ends with a touchdown. We're tied up. Then Emporia State would take the lead here. Braden Gleason finds Corey Thomas. Toe taps in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Hornets go up 13-7, but the Gorilla defense shut them down from there. Antoine Nunn Jr. steps in for the pick. Second straight week he gets an interception. And second half, running back Caleb Lewis up the middle. He goes for 117, and that touchdown. Gorillas survive in Emporia 14-13. The Missouri Southern Lions also in action today on the road facing Fort Hays State. Now, the Lions 2-1, looking for their first 3-game winning streak since 2013. And look at this. Southern wins a nail-biter, 25-24 over the Tigers. Trace Wilhite, Lamar, Missouri kid, caught the go-ahead touchdown with under 2 minutes to go. Joplin High School product Nathan Glades rushes for 112 yards and a touchdown. The Kansas Jayhawks have been one of the biggest surprises of the college football season so far. The Jayhawks are 3-0 to start the year, their first 3-0 start since 2009. Now, KU tries to stay perfect this afternoon at home against Duke. Now, this game, Jayhawks' first sellout crowd since 2019. One of the best plays of the day here, Jalen Daniels to Daniel Highshaw. Just bouncing off everybody, man. Eventually, he gets by everybody. 73-yard touchdown. KU goes up 14-7. Third quarter now, Daniels, who's good all day, man, finds Lawrence Arnold. Fourth touchdown pass of the afternoon for Jalen Daniels. It's 28-13 Jayhawks. One more here for good measure. Daniels doing it on the ground. 3-yard rushing score, his fifth total touchdown. Jayhawks get to 4-0, beating Duke 35-27. Well, today's a big day for Carl Junction High School volleyball. CJ is hosting an 18-team tournament that includes teams from Southwest Missouri, Southeast Kansas, and Northwest Arkansas. Now, pool play was earlier today. In bracket play, got two local teams squaring off in the quarterfinals tonight with Webb City taking on Nevada. First set, Jaylee Rutledge at the net. Comes up with the big block, makes it 10-7 Cardinals. Nevada, though, right there with him. Emma Leisure finds some open court. Then Webb City starts to pull away. Kaya Sanborn sets up Brenda Lawrence for the kill. Cardinals go on to win the first set 25-14. They keep rolling in set two. Sanborn to Kate Brownfield this time. She puts it just out of reach. Then Sanborn puts it over herself. Cardinals take set two, 25-13 to top Nevada in straight sets. Now, Webb City goes on to make the Gold Bracket Championship where they meet tournament host Carl Junction. Now, it is the Cardinals winning the tournament title in straight sets 25-19, 25-17. Well, Albert Pujols made a little history Saturday night for the St. Louis Cardinals. Pujols hit his 700th career homer last night against the Dodgers. I actually ended up with 2 jacks last night in LA to get to 700, one in the third, another in the fourth. Pujols becomes just the 4th player in MLB history to reach 700 career homers, joining Barry Bonds, Hank Aaron, and Babe Ruth.
What a special night, first of all, to have my family here in town and to be able to do it here at Dodger Stadium, where I think, I said early, my joy pretty much of this game came back last year, being in the postseason and being in the clubhouse just a few feet away from here. It's pretty special.
That's it for sports. We're back after this.
A piece of Native American history sailed home to them again in a story 3,000 years in the making. A joint operation between the Wisconsin Historical Society and the Ho-Chunk Nation recovered the second ancient canoe from Lake Mendota this morning. Naomi Knowles captures the breathtaking moment.
After 4 months,
it gives me goosebumps.
Tamara Thompson could finally celebrate seeing something that hasn't been seen for so much longer.
3 different tests, so for sure it is a 3,000-year-old canoe.
This morning, Thompson helped the Wisconsin Historical Society dive team delicately raise an ancient canoe from the waters of Lake Mendota.
It's kind of the consistency of wet cardboard.
Thompson spotted the relic while scuba diving off the southwestern shores in May.
Texted my boss, I'm like, you're not going to believe this. This is not a joke. I found another dugout canoe.
Last fall, she helped recover a different 1,200-year-old canoe in the same lake. This summer, the Historical Society sent a sample from this canoe. Radiocarbon dating places it from approximately 1126 BC, predating the Trojan War. It's an era that's difficult for Marlon White Eagle to grasp. He's able today to touch something made by his Ho-Chunk tribe's distant ancestors.
Shows that we had a society with transportation, trade, commerce that was a part of the fabric of our society back then.
The excavation process started on Monday, 30 feet deep out in Lake Mendota. And now this 3,000-year-old canoe heads next to the State Archive Preservation Facility, where it could take up to 3 years to complete preservation. Historical Society Director Christian Overland admits this discovery, which is currently in several pieces, presents more questions than answers.
It's a new pathway and portal to the past to understand.
But he says, in conjunction with the Ho-Chunk tribe, there will be much to learn, much to celebrate in the years to come.
That's part of the story that we're going to bring up out of the water, and the investigation starts. The storytelling starts. History moves forward in a new way.
Oh, that's awesome. Happy that they were able to get that. Sam, what do we have?
Dry. Hot and dry today, and it'll be dry the rest of the week. At least temperatures will be more closer to normal, though.
Awesome. Awesome. Sounds good. Well, next week's matchup, man.
We got ourselves a game. Pittsburgh State 4-0 hosting Missouri Southern 3-1 next Saturday in Pittsburgh, 2 p.m. It's going to be rowdy.
Well, congrats to both those teams tonight. Ezekiel Lang with another score this week. All right, well, sounds good. Remember, that's our time. For now, we're always on at KOAMNewsNow.com and our app. Thanks for making us part of your night.